have you ever stopped to think how a game like The Sims, I mean, it's so incredibly open-ended, right? How that possibly become you're literally playing God with these little virtual building their houses, their lives, everything. So today we're going to dive deep into the whole saga of The Sims movie adaptation. Quite a story.
Yeah, our mission here is to look at all the sources, the news, the updates, what people have been saying, try to piece together what's going on with the current project, and also what really happened with that first attempt years ago. Why didn't it work out? And crucially, why does this new version feel like it might actually do right by this 25-year-old game that so many people grew up with?
Absolutely. And I think before we even get into the movie stuff, it's worth remembering just how talking hundreds of millions of copies, 22 language, global thing, and the core appeal, it's that player, right? The customization, creativity, build your own stories, which funnily enough makes it super tricky to adapt into a linear film, a fast challenge. Okay, so let's rewind. To understand where we are now, we definitely need to go back to 2007. That's when the first Sims movie actually got the green light. And the guy tapped to write and direct was Brian Lynch. You might know him from The Secret Life of Pets, or he did a lot of comic book work too. His idea for the plot was pretty wild. It was about this kid, this teenager, who finds out that whatever he does in the Sims game, it starts happening.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so starts off fun, obviously, but then, things get chaotic pretty fast. Lynch also mentioned wanting the main character to be sort of socially awkward. He thought that reflected how a lot of players actually use the game to figure out social stuff.
That's interesting. And what's really key here is Lynch seemed, really committed to the game itself. It wasn't just a cash grab with the name slapped on. He wanted it to feel authentic. He talked about putting in things like game glitches, characters suddenly speaking Simlish, confusing the main character, stuff fans would get.
Right, nods to the actual gameplay experience.
Exactly. And apparently, Will Wright, the creator of The Sims, he was pleased. Fox, EA, they were all on board with the script. It got greenlit super quick, almost immediately.
Okay, so if everyone was happy, the concept sounded cool, why did it just stall? It ended up stuck in development hell for years and then officially got canned in 2019. What happened?
Well, Brian Lynch himself talked about it. Disney buying Fox and cutting projects, part of the picture late in the game. But he said the main reason, the big one, was just the cost. The production costs were apparently sky high.
Really? Why so expensive?
He wanted it to be fully live action. So think about building Sims worlds, but for real. That means tons of special effects. Very pricey, especially back then. And get this, he also wanted real celebrities playing themselves, like a celebrity expansion pack.
Whoa, okay, yeah, I can see the budget ballooning there.
Right. Huge talent budget on top of the effects. Plus, the studio, Fox, they apparently wanted big-name actors for the main roles. Lynch might have been thinking unknowns, so more budget friction. And beyond the money, Fox just seemed to struggle with marketing it. How do you even explain this concept? A lot of fans actually got worried, started pushing back against a big Hollywood version. They feared it would, ruin the game's vibe.
So it sounds like a mix of massive budget fears, maybe some creative differences on casting, and just difficulty selling the whole unusual idea, even before Disney stepped in.
Exactly that. Yeah. And you have to remember the context of 2007, too. Hollywood executives often looked at video games and just thought,
kids?
Pretty much.
It's hit for kids.
Yeah. So risking massive amounts of money on something like this, especially live action, they were wary. It felt like this fundamental clash between the game's quirky nature and what the studio thought a blockbuster should be. Maybe it was just never going to bridge that gap back.
But fast forward to now, 2024, suddenly, The Sims movie is back on the table. A whole new project announced this year, and the driving force behind it, Margot Robbie and her company, Lucky Chap.
Yep, Lucky Chap Entertainment. They're teaming up with Vertigo Entertainment and, significantly, Amazon MGM Studios.
Amazon MGM. So does that mean streaming, theatrical, or maybe both?
Could be both. Their involvement definitely opens up possibilities beyond just a traditional cinema release.
And crucially, EA, Electronic Arts, the publisher, they're actually involved this time, properly involved in the creative side, the production. That feels different.
It really does. And the director they've got lined up is Kate Herron. She's also co-writing with Brian E. Redman.
Kate Herron. Okay, Tell us about her. Why is she a good fit?
Well, her background is pretty impressive, especially for this kind of project. She directed all of Loki season 1 for Marvel. Still one of their best-rated Disney Plus shows.
Right, I remember that. Very stylish, handled complex stuff well.
Exactly. And maybe even more relevant, she directed an episode in season 2 of HBO's The Last of Us.
Okay, wow. That adaptation is considered like the gold standard right now for video games?
Pretty much. So she's proven she can take beloved, complex game source material and translate it brilliantly to the screen. Respect the source, but also make great television or film.
And there was something about her writing process, something she picked up from the last...
Yeah, she mentioned this. Said she 100% stole it from Craig Mason. It's about writing the character's internal thoughts directly into the script.
Huh. How would that work for The Sims where they don't even speak English?
Well, that's what makes it so intriguing, right? Since Sims speak Simlish, and so much of the storytelling comes from players projecting onto them, this technique could be a way to really get inside their heads, show their motivations, their quirks, without relying on, traditional dialogue. It could bridge that gap.
That actually sounds like a really smart approach for this specific adaptation. Makes sense.
Yeah, it suggests a focus on character, which is maybe what you need when the plot isn't a fixed thing.
Okay, so where are things right?
The latest update we have is from early May 2025. Herron did an interview, said they're currently in the writing phase and things are progressing, and she said they're feeling very good about the direction it's taking.
Good sign, but no cast yet. No release date guess.
No, nothing concrete on that front yet. Still early days, sounds.
Okay, so looking at this new attempt, why might it actually work this time? What's different?
Well, several things look promising. First, you've got Lucky Chap. Their success with Barbie is huge.
The Barbie comparison. Yeah, I can see that. Both are massive IPs, but not obvious movie material in a traditional sense.
Exactly. Barbie succeeded partly because it leaned into the weirdness, the meta commentary, the history of the toy itself. It was self-aware. The Sims has that same potential, right? It's a life simulator. You can play with the idea of control, reality, the game mechanics themselves. Lucky Chap proved they can handle that kind of unconventional storytelling and make it a hit.
That meta angle feels perfect for The Sims, acknowledging the player, game world.
Totally. And then you have the direct assurances from EA. Kate Gorman, an EA VP, specifically said it'll be a realistic tribute. She even mentioned iconic game things like freezer bunnies.
Ugh, the weird little food stirs.
And the classic pool without a ladder.
Oh, the dark side of Sims. A class.
It shows they're thinking about the details fans love. The in-joke. And another EA exec, Laura Melee, hinted the story might involve some of the game's lore, maybe even the Goth family.
Oh, Bella and Mortimer, that would be amazing. They're like Sims royalty surrounded by mystery.
Exactly. Pulling in established lore characters could give it a narrative anchor fans recognize.
And the game itself has changed so much since 2007. The Sims 4, especially with all the custom content, the CC.
Oh yeah, the community creativity is off the charts now.
Yeah.
People build incredible things.
And EA seems aware of that. They even mentioned maybe doing tie-in content for the movie in the game
which would be a really cool way to blend the two, connect with that active player base directly.
Okay, so connecting the dots. How does this new effort seem to be tackling the old problems?
Well, it feels like they've learned. You've got a director, Kate Herron, with direct, successful experience adapting tricky source material. That wasn't the case before. You've got strong studio backing from Amazon MGM, who might be more open to unconventional ideas than old school Fox perhaps was.
And EA involved. That feels key for authenticity.
Ensuring it respects the game's spirit, not just the brand. They seem less likely to let the budget run wild without a clear vision this time, hopefully.
It sounds like they're embracing what makes The Sims unique. The player agency, the humor, the weirdness, instead of trying to shoehorn it into a standard movie plot. So bringing it back to you, the listener, why is this? If you love Sims, or if you're just fascinated by how Hollywood is finally starting to crack video game adaptation, this project feels significant. It genuinely might be the love letter to the game that fans have hoped for, capturing that special feeling of creative freedom. So just to recap, we went from that first attempt back in the 2000s, which seemed promising but got bogged down by huge costs and maybe a studio that didn't quite get it, to now a completely new era. We have proven talent like Kate Herron, a production company like Lucky Chap, Barbie, and the game's publisher EA right there in the mix. Things feel more
definitely different. Which leads to a final thought. Given that the absolute core of The Sims is player freedom, creativity, and offer no single set story, how does a movie capture it? What's more important for making it work with the characters like lore? Or is it capturing that unique feeling of playing God world? Whatever approach they take, what could that mean for other big sandbox potentially getting their own adaptation line? It's a really question.